I was being recognized for being funny. I was getting work. I was feeling of like a space of that was open for being a best friend or, you know, the pregnant person or the, you know, whatever. There was like spaces that I was walking into and I was like, this is awesome. Like I'm working. But I knew that there was like something that was still like, you know, that was just felt like that was like still being like unanswered.
Filmmaker Magazine presents Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
Kathryn Hahn stars in Tamara Jenkins' new movie, Private Life, which is in theaters now and also on Netflix. Its screening at the New York Film Festival brought Kathryn Hahn to New York, which gave me the opportunity to sit down with her and talk about the work.
Is there a typical process you have in the very beginning for when you initially take a look at a script and figure out how you're going to get into this character?
Well, the first time I would read it would be to get just a general like dramaturgical sense from like kind of the outside. And that would be just, I guess, to figure out if I wanted to go in for it or if I wanted to do it. So that would be like the one dramaturgical kind of read outside. Then there would be the honing in, and that would be kind of from the eye perspective. So that would be kind of like if it was like a scaling down of like a telescope.
Yeah.
Kind of imagining that it was just through the lens of the eye, of the character, of the me, and putting everything through that person. So I would be trying to just not to lessen the distance.
Right.
So however I would need to do that would be to kind of, I guess, lessen the arm's length distance between that person on the page and myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would read it again, seeing it as an I. Mm. And I would do that just a couple more times, because usually it takes a couple times to lessen the distance, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because then you start to see everything else on the other side as other matter, that you start to see the path of the movie as it starts to open up almost.
Like the peripheral vision.
The peripheral vision
of the character.
Yes.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
And that's really helpful as just the actor.
Yeah.
That's doing that one role, and it helps no matter what the size is. It starts to like open up like the Red Sea. Like you just to start to see everything starts to open up, and it starts to become less flat and becomes more like three-dimensional for you, for the eye. And then this is something I learned in graduate school, which has still always been very helpful, is then I start to just write lists, like practical lists of the who am I. And this is from like close reads of the scripts. And this is all information that's just found in there. Nothing is found outside of the script. Like I don't use anything that's outside of it. That it's like the who am I? What do I say about myself in it? How do I describe myself? How do others describe me? Where am I? So that's just like practically, like where am I on this day? Where was I yesterday? Where was I before the scene? Just like all just the information, just like practical and just practically, like nothing like la, nothing poetic, just like all the practical stuff that you can just like put and look and see, so you can like concretely put it into your system. Yeah. So you're not looking outside of yourself. And then just the act of doing that is an osmosis to me, I find. Then when all that stuff has happened, this is like way before you even talked to the director, this is like way before, and none of this is like going offline. This is just like what you have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go offline. Like, I don't want to go, like, all I need is the director's my, like, the North Star. Like, yes. The script is the North Star. Like, I'm not going to go offline. This is just to, like, help me, like, get into the eye.
Yeah.
And then I don't usually like to, like, memorize until it gets closer.
Mm-hmm. And what's the reason for that?
Because I don't want to decide stuff.
Because you don't want to lay around with that decision and it starts to get crusty?
Yes.
Okay.
Calcified.
Yeah.
Like I that's like the easiest part to me.
Yeah.
Is the memorizing. Sometimes, although, I'm going to take that back and say, though, that sometimes it is also, I can say that I don't know what I'm doing and say that sometimes it's helpful to do it way in advance and then throw it completely away and then just refresh.
Right.
And then know it's so deep in there that it can just burble out.
Right.
You don't want to be thinking about the words at all.
Right.
You just want to think about what you want, what you are trying to get and how to get it and what's in your way and just using different tools. Like, that's what I think. Like, I think that the only thing that I like to be thinking about is what I want and how to get it. And so that is mostly listening. And if you're thinking about your language at all, it's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer because it's tension in places that you don't need.
We have to back out here and look at your career a little bit because I need like 2 hours with you.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm
It's not going
sorry.
to get that.
No, we have to
But
really
one day-
consolidate it.
I know.
We're going to like black hole it.
Right. And let
We're
it,
just
let
gonna,
it
like,
explode.
whoosh. Yeah,
let
exactly.
it explode in the thing. You said, I think I was best friend first, then Randy crazy lady. And it feels like now with this movie, I mean, and maybe even like Afternoon Delight, I Love Dick, and this movie, you're saying bye-bye to those two characters.
Yeah.
When you were very seemingly easily doing those roles and people loving it, were you inside thinking, I got to get out of this? Like, I need to expand my work here.
Yes. Yes. I was definitely feeling like I was definitely feeling grateful and like and also like I don't belong here, not in but just in a way of that I felt that there was this kind of idea of Hollywood that I had that I wasn't quite sure how I fit in, or that I was trying to be something that I wasn't, or that I thought I had to be some way that I just wasn't. Like I just wasn't ever like the ingenue that I thought I was supposed to be. Or something, like I just wasn't like, I wasn't ready to handle, there was just like a mismatch, like the work that I wanted, that I was most fulfilled by as an actor wasn't matching up to the work that I was being asked of. And that was a little bit of both. Like I wasn't meeting up with it, it wasn't meeting up with me. Like it just wasn't happening. And the work that I was able to do on stage and in the theater and school, like that kind of work at Williamstown, and like the work that I love to do, the like rehearsing at 2 a.m, Maria Irene Fornes plays or whatever, like putting up sets with my pals and rehearsing Hamlet and like, sleeping for 2 seconds, like chain smoking, like that kind of stuff was like the stuff that I was like, all I wanted to do. And so I was unsatisfied by the work I was getting paid to do. And that was a weird feeling.
Right.
For sure. I mean, I was paying off my student loans. I was having but it certainly wasn't like the,
And were your people at this time thinking, what are you doing? You're getting all this stuff.
Yes.
Just, do it. Like,
Just like ride the wave. Yeah, of course. And also I was being recognized for being funny. I was getting work.
Yeah.
Like I was, I was feeling of like a space that was open for being a best friend or, the pregnant person or the, whatever. There was like spaces that I was, walking into, and I was like, this is awesome. Like I'm working. This is,
Right,
this is my dream. Like, of course, I'm crazy excited. This is, yeah. Why not? Like this, I knew how lucky I was. Like I knew how many of my friends from work weren't working, or from school.
Right.
So of course nothing but, gratitude. Like, yes, of course. But I knew that there was like something that was still like, that was just felt like that was like still being like unanswered. And not that I have any regret for any of that chapter. Like, that was awesome. And I also don't think I would be here talking to you had that not happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that all needed to happen.
Right.
So, no regrets, but.
Right. So what was it like? Like, I love the movie Afternoon Delight, Jill Soloway. And she said about you, she reminded me of Ellen Burstyn, Meryl Streep, or Diane Wiest, flawed heroines who let their humanity come through. I mean, so here you are during this time, the crazy lady, the best friend that she saw, and now we know what she's talking about. This is not a crazy quote at all. And with this movie, Private Life, you stepped it into that even further here. It's so interesting to see this trajectory. And I feel like we have a new, like, I feel like as an audience member, I took you for granted. And now seeing what you can do, it's like we have a new amazing actress. It really feels like that. And I feel like it's interesting that these are 2 or 3 of your last things are women are surrounding the at the helm of these things. And you said something somewhere like, having women behind the camera really changes things for you. I want you to talk a little bit about that. For instance, what you need from a director and how that's different when they are women.
Geez, I mean, first I want to talk about this. I mean, not that I quote Alan Watts on a regular basis, but I do. There's a quote that I've been thinking about a lot recently, which is, he says, "You are under no obligation to be the person you were 5 minutes ago." And I think about that a lot in terms of this weird career trajectory I've had, and just how unexpected and fantastic this last chapter has been, and how, like I was saying, I wouldn't be here talking to you had that not happened, and had that, that my 20s not happened. And I'm so, grateful for it. But wow, has this been, I'm thrilled for this last moment. And it's not lost on me that it's been a lot of women, that I have been, feel like I've been seen wholly by women.
Yes.
And meaning WHOY.
Yes.
Between, the most interesting, contradictory, complicated roles that I have been offered and given the responsibility to try to crack have been from women, written by women. It's no small thing. Mm-hmm. And then this, and like as you described it, it is interesting and not lost on me that this period of like feeling like I have been, like I do also feel like a new actor, almost. Mm-hmm. Like I've like discovered whatever this period of like has been because of this period of women directors is also, it is just like, it's not lost on me either.
Talk to me about Private Life and Tamara Jenkins. Where did you enter in this thing of her trying to get this made?
I wasn't even really in her brain. And Jeannie McCarthy, again, another woman, amazing woman casting director who has been my champion since the 20s. And I always say that she has like actor x-ray. Do you know Jeannie McCarthy,
No.
this casting director?
No.
Anyway, she's amazing. And I think that she has like actor x-ray. Like she was able to like see something in me underneath all my like insecurity, actor bullshit in my 20s, and just always kind of kept putting me in rooms that I probably didn't belong in, but just kept believing in me. And she kind of breathed my name into Tamara's ear somewhere along the line. I was like, Kathryn Hahn, for this, very early on. And Tamara was like, what? And so Tamara kind of saw me on Transparent and kind of, so that's how I got into Tamara's craw. I read the script knowing nothing about it except for the title, Private Life by Tamara Jenkins. And of course it could have been anything. It was such a Pandora's box. I loved the Savages. I didn't know anything about the subject matter but I just felt, I mean, this piece of writing is so perfect and so beautiful and clear and so specific, and this marriage is so gorgeous, and it's so existential. And what Paul had said so beautifully during the making of it, it's not really even about the baby, which I had thought too. It's really like not even about a baby.
Yeah.
Like you don't even see the baby, and like when I was reading it, I didn't even picture a baby like at all.
Right.
It's like waiting for Godot. That's what Paul said. Like it just feels so existential. There's something about it that's like it's just about that midlife crisis, this dual midlife crisis. Like they're just on this trip together. Like it's this dual midlife crisis that they're just, I never even pictured the baby. And not to spoil anything, but the thing that meant the most to me about this whole trip was at the end, it's when he gets up from his side of the booth and he goes to sit next to her while they're waiting. It means more than whether or not she shows up.
Yes.
Like it's like doesn't matter. It's like it's that they're together.
Yes.
Like even when Kayli says that, when she's like, have you guys thought about what kind of birth? And we look at each other like that had never even crossed our mind. Like, what are you talking about, birth? Like, we had never even thought about what kind of birth. Like, we're just in this, it's this delayed adulthood too. Like, it brings up so much about, like, we had just been frozen in amber, the two of us, stuck in this kind of delay, this rent control. Like, we know so many people. I had lived here for a while too. Like I know so many, I'm in my mid 40s. Like I know that feeling of that feeling from I still have that feeling in my 20s. Like I sometimes I catch myself in a window and I'm surprised by the reflection because I still feel like I'm that person in my 20s and I can't believe that I'm not anymore. And like the same energy, the same dream, the same like feeling, the same passion, the same like, I went to see Beck on Friday and I just was like so excited. But I looked, like we panned at the Hollywood Bowl and I was like, oh Jesus, like everyone's old in here. Like we all looked like it's a different, like we're all old. Like it was like everyone's changed. But like so that's that feeling of like, what happens when like your body catches up to your, that's the fertility. That's the like, it's just a great like concrete metaphor for just like getting older. Like it's profound, man.
I talked to Kayli Carter and she
the
said,
young and lovely Kayli Carter.
Wonderful actress, young actress. She said that you like to take a nap on lunch breaks.
I have to.
Okay, tell me about that, but tell me about what else you need on a set and what atmosphere you like. Somebody else that I was talking to, I think it was Linus Roach, was talking about how on a set, everybody wants you want to be nice to everybody and everybody wants to talk to you, but it's like distracting, but you're nice and you like people and you don't wanna, but it's like this weird thing where it's like,
that's his experience.
Yeah.
I have to take a lunch or a nap on a lunch break because of those feelings. I need to shut it down.
Yeah.
I have to. Even if I just lay prone, I need to I just need to turn it off. I can't be social on a lunch break. Like I know a lot of actors like love to have lunch together and love to. I just have to turn it down for myself. I do. Or just text my family but I am not good at expending more energy myself. I just need to shut it down. Not because I'm a pretty social bird and I give a little too much away, and so I'm like that. I think like Linus is describing, I'm still trying to like manage how much energy to give away and when. When I was younger, I definitely had that feeling of trying to be everybody's friend on the set. And now I'm trying to be like, oh, I don't have to be everyone's friend. I just have to be like polite and kind and good and respectful. But I am trying to just like manage like seeping of energy and like saving it for what's important, which is my job. And so I just need to, even if I'm just prone, I just need to shut the machine off like a robot. I just need to be like, brr.
Makes sense. And Kayli was talking about how Tamara was very close all the time when scenes were going on. And she was saying she likes that. I thought all actors want the director really close, but she said no, some people don't like that. What's your...
I like it better than a director that's like all the way back behind the monitor, like somewhere else, just like having a sandwich. Like that drives me
watching
crazy.
your TV and you on TV.
Like that, but like watching it on TV. That always feels a little, disengaged. But I guess it depends on the movie. This, like, it was, sometimes her scenes were so intimate that she would try to be respectful by covering herself up with like a black sheet, like a black curtain. But then that was also hilarious because then there would just be like this kind of shaking black curtain, because she'd be laughing right by the bed, holding a monitor. So that there'd be this it was very trippy. But she also, the thing about Tamara that is like, I love so much is that she feels it so strongly. Like she is such an empath that like whatever you're feeling as an actor, it just like rushes through her. She's channels it. So she's feeling whatever you're feeling as a performer, like really intensely. So it takes a second to get used to like her really like feeling it as well.
What is next? What are you going to be creating your own content? Are you even more now picky about scripts? Saying no a lot. Like what ideally is next for you?
Oh, honey, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just want to keep listening to my gut and just listening to my gut, working with people that inspire me. Yeah, digging. You know, that I do feel like this sweet pocket is like my sweet spot, like this pocket of like right between like just like that caught in your throat, like is she gonna burst into tears or start laughing? Like that is my fave. But I love a big swing comedy, and I love it all. Like I've been really I don't know if I've been lucky or not, but I chaotically have been able to kind of like be able to kind of work in a lot of different genres. So I'm excited to continue in that way. But I hopefully will be able to just like be inspired, like my 20s are over. So be able to, and you know, like we were saying, life's freaking short. So just to be like crazy inspired by whatever is going to be taking me away from my children and make it matter and deeply funny or deeply means something, and whatever that means, and all that good stuff.
Kathryn Hahn, thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you for squeezing me in. Really, I so appreciate it.
I'm so happy you came.
Thank you.
Back to One is a production of Filmmaker Magazine, which is a publication of IFP, the Independent Filmmaker Project. It's produced by Spencer Rain. Listen to back episodes of this podcast at filmmakermagazine.com or wherever you get your podcasts.